What if I told you that everything happening in your life isn't random, but a direct reflection of what you choose to observe? The universe is not something external to you. It is in constant dialogue with your consciousness, responding to every thought, emotion, and intention you project. Yet most people don't realize this. They believe reality just happens, without understanding that they are co-creators of their own destiny. What you feel and believe doesn't just influence your perception, it literally shapes your experience. This isn't just a philosophical idea. It's a truth that ancient spiritual traditions have long understood, and that even modern science is beginning to confirm. Great masters have always taught that observation is an act of creation. What you focus on expands. If you look at life with fear and scarcity, your reality will reflect that. But if your mind aligns with the abundance and balance of the universe, new possibilities begin to unfold before you. But how does this work in practice? How can the simple act of observing transform your reality? In this video, we will explore this principle and reveal how a simple shift in perspective can change your life in ways you may never have imagined. And if you've already noticed signs that your energy influences what happens around you, then stay with me until the end, because the answers you seek may be closer than you think. Why do so many people create realities they don't want? If observation has the power to shape reality, then why do so many people remain trapped in cycles of suffering, repeating the same challenges and difficulties? The answer lies in what they choose, or fail to choose, to observe. The mind works like a mirror. Everything that exists in the external world reflects what is already within you. But not everyone realizes this. Many go through life believing that events are random, unaware that their state of consciousness directly influences their experiences. Every day, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind, and without noticing, you become attached to certain patterns of observation. For those who are used to focusing on what's wrong, that becomes their reality. Meanwhile, those who have learned to see opportunities find that the world responds with new possibilities. If two people face the same difficulty, why does one overcome it while the other feels stuck? The difference lies in their perspective. Those who observe life with fear and scarcity see only limitations. On the other hand, those who train their perception to seek growth discover paths that once seemed non-existent. The problem arises when this pattern of observation becomes automatic. The mind operates on autopilot, constantly reinforcing the same interpretations and emotional responses. Even when circumstances change, a person continues to see life through the same lens. Science explains this phenomenon through the reticular activating system, RAS. This part of the brain acts as a selective filter, allowing you to perceive only what you consider relevant. If someone believes that the world is difficult, their mind unconsciously seeks evidence to reinforce that belief. But if they change their internal programming, they start noticing aspects that previously went unnoticed. Think about when you learn a new word or buy a specific car model. Suddenly you start seeing that word or car everywhere. But they were always there. The only thing that changed was your focus. The same happens with your reality. Your mind only sees what it has been trained to notice. But if this programming can be automatic, can it also be changed? The answer is yes. The way we observe the world can be consciously adjusted, allowing us to perceive new opportunities and experiences that align with what we truly desire. If you feel that certain negative patterns keep repeating, it's because your observation is still tuned to that frequency. But there is a way out. In the next section, we will explore how observation not only interprets reality, but actively participates in its creation. How your consciousness shapes the universe. Many believe that the universe follows an unchangeable course, as if life were just a sequence of predetermined events. But what if I told you that your observation has a direct impact on how this reality unfolds? Since ancient times, great spiritual masters have taught that consciousness is not merely a reflection of life. It actively participates in its construction. Today, even science is beginning to confirm this truth. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that the behavior of subatomic particles changes when they are observed, revealing a fundamental principle. Consciousness interacts with reality. If this effect occurs at the microscopic level, Imagine how your consciousness influences your life on a broader scale. Every thought, emotion, and intention acts as a shaping force, adjusting what you perceive and attract into your experience. The human mind functions like a lens, adjusting focus to different aspects of reality. Whatever you concentrate on becomes clearer and more significant. If someone constantly focuses on difficulties, their perception will be dominated by problems. But if their attention is directed toward growth and opportunities, life begins to reflect that internal state. This relationship between consciousness and reality is not just philosophical. Neuroscience suggests that our perception activates specific areas of the brain, influencing how we react to and interpret the world. When someone chooses to see a situation with confidence and clarity, their nervous system aligns with that vision, reinforcing that internal state. The big question is, how can we use this knowledge in a practical way? How can we train our minds to observe life in a way that favors transformation and expansion? The first key is intentional perception. Instead of merely reacting to circumstances, become aware of what you are observing. At every moment, ask yourself, is this aligned with what I want to experience? This simple shift puts you in control of your reality. Another powerful practice is training an expanded perspective. In many situations, the answers we seek are already around us, but we can only perceive them when we adjust our observation. When you decide to look beyond immediate challenges, you discover solutions and paths that previously seemed non-existent. But here's an important detail. It's not enough to observe consciously. You must align your observation with the right vibration. If you desire an abundant life but observe the world through feelings of scarcity, the energy you generate is still out of sync with what you want to manifest. This is why the emotional quality of observation is crucial. When you look at reality feeling frustrated, your vibration aligns with that state. But if you cultivate an attitude of gratitude and trust, your energy resonates in a completely different way. This explains why people who maintain a high vibration seem to attract positive situations more easily. What sets apart those who consciously shape their reality from those who remain stuck in repetitive cycles is how they interpret and respond to what they observe. Instead of merely accepting what is in front of them, they choose to direct their attention toward aspects that empower their journey. Imagine your mind as a musical instrument. At every moment, you can tune it to higher frequencies or let it resonate with discordant tones. The decision of where to place your attention defines the melody of your life. If everything you perceive is filtered through your consciousness, then changing that filter means changing your life experience. But how does the mind make this selection? What determines what we perceive and what we overlook? In the next section, we will explore how this process works and how we can adjust our perception to see a world that aligns with the reality we wish to create. You only see what you believe. Everything you perceive is not just a reflection of external reality, but a reflection of what your mind is programmed to see. The truth is, the world around you is not fixed. What changes is what you are able to notice within this infinite field of possibilities. The human mind cannot process all the information it receives. At every moment, millions of stimuli, sounds, images, sensations reach your brain, but only a small fraction is consciously registered. This happens because your mind acts as a filter, selecting what it considers relevant and discarding the rest. The problem arises when this filter is built on limiting beliefs. If someone grew up hearing that the world is tough or that success is for the few, their mind will start registering only information that confirms this view. Even when opportunities arise around them, they won't be able to perceive them because their mental filter blocks any evidence contrary to what they already believe. This process is known as confirmation bias, a natural brain mechanism that seeks to validate what we already consider true. If someone believes they are unlucky, their mind will only pay attention to moments when things go wrong, completely ignoring the positive ones. The same happens with abundance, relationships, and any other area of life. But how is this filter formed? It begins taking shape in childhood, shaped by education, environment, and personal experiences. Each experience reinforces thought patterns that eventually define how we perceive the world. Over time, This process becomes so automatic that many people never even question how they see life. If you want to change your reality, the first step is understanding how your mind has been filtering your experiences. Ask yourself, what kind of information has my mind been prioritizing? What have I been noticing in my daily life? Is this filter aligned with the life I want to create? To adjust this perception, it is essential to train your mind to recognize new possibilities. And this starts with the simple decision to expand your focus and allow yourself to see beyond the limits that once seemed insurmountable. A powerful technique for modifying this filter is the 3 Truths Challenge. Throughout the day, intentionally observe 3 facts that prove your reality can be different from what you've always believed. If you think there are no opportunities for growth, look for 3 examples that prove otherwise. If you believe life is always full of hardships, find 3 signs that show there are easier paths to take. This simple exercise begins to rewire your brain to notice new information, gradually shifting your perception of reality. Another crucial factor is the quality of energy you emit when observing the world. The mental filter isn't just about what you think, it's also about what you feel. If your predominant emotion is fear, your mind will automatically adjust your perception to notice more risks and dangers. But if your vibration aligns with confidence and gratitude, your brain will start seeking elements that reinforce that state. This explains why some people seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. They have trained their minds to recognize possibilities where others see only obstacles. They don't just believe things will work out. They observe the world in a way that confirms this reality. Changing this filter requires practice, but it is a process accessible to anyone willing to shift how they view their own existence. The more you question your perception patterns and expand your focus, the more you will realize that reality is far greater than what you were conditioned to see. Now that we understand how the mind selects what we perceive, the key question is, how can we reprogram it to focus on what we truly want to manifest? In the next section, we will explore techniques to realign your observation and reconfigure your consciousness to perceive a broader and more favorable reality. How to reprogram your focus. The method to change your reality. Now that we understand how the mind filters reality, an essential question arises. How can we train our focus to see a world more aligned with the life we want to live? A shift in observation doesn't happen by chance. It must be practiced. Just as a musician trains to master an instrument, your mind also needs exercises to strengthen a new pattern of perception. The first step is to become aware of where your attention is being directed throughout the day. Many people spend years focusing on difficulties and problems without realizing that this choice keeps their lives trapped in the same cycles. So start asking yourself, what am I reinforcing with my attention? Where am I directing my energy daily? An effective method for this shift is the conscious redirection technique. Whenever you notice your mind focusing on something negative or limiting, interrupt that pattern and ask yourself, how can I observe this situation from a more expansive perspective? This simple shift already begins to reorganize your perception. Additionally, a powerful practice is the active mental filter technique. Instead of allowing your mind to select information automatically, consciously decide what you want to see. In the morning, set a clear intention. Today, I will notice 3 signs that the universe is aligning my life with new opportunities. This practice trains the brain to seek evidence of what you wish to manifest. Another effective method for reprogramming focus is the nighttime perception review. Before going to sleep, spend a few minutes reflecting on the moments in your day when you were able to see beyond immediate challenges. This strengthens the new way of observing the world and helps reprogram the subconscious to maintain this perception in the days ahead. Reprogramming focus is also directly connected to emotions. If someone observes life with anxiety and fear, that energy will reflect in their experiences. But when attention is trained to notice harmony and growth, their vibration adjusts to this new reality. Another essential factor in this process is the power of repetition. Your mind operates in patterns, and what is reinforced consistently becomes a habit. At first, changing observation patterns may seem challenging, but with practice, this new way of seeing life becomes automatic. If you apply these methods consistently, you will begin to notice a shift in your perception of life. And when your observation changes, your reality inevitably follows. Now that you understand how to modify your focus and align your perception with a more expansive reality, another crucial question arises. How do emotions influence this process? Can what we feel affect our ability to observe and shape the world around us? In the next section, we will explore this deep connection between emotion and observation and understand how our internal state determines what we can perceive and attract into our lives. How your emotions shape what you observe. Now that you understand how your observation shapes reality, there is one essential factor that defines this process: your emotional state. Emotions are not just internal responses to events. They are vibrational frequencies that determine how you perceive and interact with the world around you. Two people can go through the same situation and interpret it in completely different ways. The difference is not in the event itself, but in the emotional energy each person is tuned into. If someone observes life with fear and insecurity, everything around them will seem more challenging. But if they observe with confidence and clarity, new possibilities become visible. The way we feel directly affects how we perceive reality. If you've ever had a day where everything seemed difficult and nothing flowed, your vibration was probably out of alignment. On the other hand, on days when you feel excited and confident, everything seems to happen more naturally. This difference is not a coincidence. It is a direct reflection of the emotional state you are in. This phenomenon can be explained by the concept of vibrational resonance. Your energy field is constantly interacting with the environment, and the quality of this interaction depends on the frequency you maintain. If your vibration is low, your perception becomes limited, and your mind focuses more on challenges. But if your vibration is high, your consciousness expands, allowing you to see solutions and paths that once seemed non-existent. The question is, how can we elevate this emotional vibration so that our observation aligns with a more harmonious reality? A fundamental practice is intentional tuning. In the morning, before starting your day, take a few minutes to enter a state of presence and feel the energy you want to carry throughout the day. Ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? By setting this intention, you begin directing your vibration toward a higher state. Another powerful technique is conscious emotional reprogramming. Whenever you notice that your observation is being influenced by negative emotions, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Then ask yourself, if I were observing this situation from a state of balance, what would I see differently? This small adjustment immediately begins to alter your perception. The practice of active gratitude is also an effective way to raise your vibration. It's not just about feeling grateful for something that has already happened, but about cultivating this emotion regardless of external circumstances. When you learn to feel gratitude for what is yet to come, your mind aligns with that frequency, and your reality responds to this vibration. The more you train your emotional state to sustain higher vibrations, the clearer and more aligned your perception becomes. And when observation and emotion are in sync, reality begins to reorganize itself to reflect this new frequency. Now that we understand the connection between emotion and perception, the question arises, how can we apply this knowledge in daily life? How can we turn this theory into a practical method to adjust our way of observing and creating our reality? In the next section, we will learn specific exercises to train this new perception and make it part of our everyday lives. How to train your mind to observe the reality you want to create. Knowing that your observation shapes reality is powerful, but this change does not happen just at the level of knowledge. It is through daily practice that this transformation becomes real. If your mind has spent years observing life from a limiting perspective, reprogramming it requires consistency. The good news is that small changes in how you direct your attention can already begin to reorganize your perception. Here are 3 simple and effective exercises to train your mind and strengthen this new pattern of observation. The first exercise is the Conscious Perception Journal. For the next 7 days, at the end of each day, write down 3 moments when you noticed your mind choosing a new focus. It could be something small, like recognizing something positive where you once saw only difficulties. This exercise strengthens your ability to notice subtle changes in how you observe reality. The second exercise is the contrast technique. Whenever you catch yourself observing a problem or challenge negatively, pause for a moment and ask yourself, If I were seeing this situation from a higher perspective, what would be different? This simple adjustment trains your mind to seek new angles, expanding your view of the world. The third exercise is the high-frequency challenge. Choose a time of day to consciously elevate your vibration. This could be through music, a moment of silence, an inspiring reading, or any practice that makes you feel more connected to the energy you want to sustain. The more you reinforce elevated emotional states, the more your observation aligns with that frequency. With daily practice, your mind begins to adjust to a new pattern of perception. Gradually, you will notice that your reality starts to reflect this transformation. Now that we've reached the end of this video, I want you to pause for a moment and observe what is happening inside you. What has changed in your perception? How are you looking at your reality right now? Everything you see around you is a reflection of your consciousness. Your mind is constantly shaping your experience, and every thought, emotion, and intention contributes to this process. The transformation you desire begins now, in the way you choose to observe the present moment. If your mind is trained to see limitations, that is what you will find. But if you decide to align your attention with possibilities, you will start to notice that everything can be different. And to reinforce this learning, I want you to write in the comments. What was your biggest insight from this video? Share your experience and engage with this community that is seeking the same transformation. If this content resonated with you, leave a like and send it to someone who needs this message. This not only strengthens this knowledge within you, but can also change someone else's perspective.